refresh those For You pages and feeds. So that's what we're doing this evening. And to help us do it, we're bringing in Miss Emily. You may know her as EG. She's everywhere. She's doing her thing.
Hi, guys.
How are you tonight, EG? You doing okay?
I'm good. I'm so happy that this worked out. I feel like it's been a long time coming. I keep up with y'all's stuff and honored to be with you guys.
Thank you.
Oh, we're happy you're here. We finally made it work. It's fine. We work with Clint Lamb a lot. You know Clint.
I do know Clint.
And Clint, I'll message him and, hey man, we need you on this Thursday. Come hang out with us. And then he messages me like 3 months later, and he's like, yeah, I got you. Like,
listen,
bro, that was from July.
That man, I will try and contact him. He is up at like 5 a.m. and asleep by like 7 p.m. So you have a tight window, I will say.
He's a grinder. He
stays up an hour late just to be on our show when we can get him on.
That's why he's so good at what he does. Chris joining us late, fashionably late. Chris, how you doing, buddy?
All right, man.
Doing good. Happy to see you. So, EG, I got to ask you straight off the bat. I saw it pregame Saturday with ULM coming to Tuscaloosa over there on the sideline. I almost kicked myself in the rear end for not taking a video of it myself, but on Sunday I asked about it. Somebody had the video. I posted it. It did its thing, got some views, and you, being the person that you are, the person with access, and just being the nicest person in the world, actually got to ask about the video of Tim Keenan hyping up head coach Kalen DeBoer on the sideline. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so that was a great video. I did not see that going down. So during the game and pregame, I'm there on the sidelines. I'm trying to be aware of, different interactions. And suddenly on Sunday, this video, that you guys put out starts doing numbers. And it's a great video, by the way, too. Like, it's just, you can feel the energy. And so on Monday, I'm trying to think through my questions for Coach DeBoer, because we see him, Saturday night, and then we get all three of them. So offense and defensive coordinators and Kane Womack and Coach Grubb. And then we get DeBoer, and I'm thinking, what better thing to ask him than this video that has gotten, to the national accounts of him and TK, Tim Keenan, who we all know and love, a Birmingham kid that just bleeds Alabama. And so I was able to our curiosity peaked, and we kind of got some answers on it, which I thought was pretty fun for all of us.
Good. Yeah. I like the way he answered, the question asked about, that's just Tim Keenan. That's just who he is.
Yeah.
And, that's, you have pretty decent access to the program players. How real is that in your experience on campuses? Is Tim Keenan really that guy?
He is. And when I tell you, my own personal interactions with TK have been nothing but just incredible. He's a great human. He's very beloved in his own communities. And that's definitely a focal point of his, is his faith, but also giving back to where he came from. And so he's one of those guys, like Coach DeBoer said, that he was tasked to bring the energy, because he didn't make the trip to Tallahassee. So he had tightrope surgery. He was not there for FSU, and it was noticeable. Something that we talked about was kind of the lack of energy on the sidelines that first game. Kane Womack mentioned about how, a sideline is a living, breathing organism, and you have to feed it the right way. And they did not do a very good job of that against FSU. So they come back home against ULM, and TK is tasked with making sure that happens, and he did it. And I love how Coach DeBoer said, I feel supported by him, because you guys have seen it. There's a lot of questions that people are asking about Coach DeBoer, and I'll be the first one to say, listen, that team loves him. There's no secret. Yeah. And to hear him say, we asked him to bring the energy to the players that he brought to the staff was a really cool moment.
Yeah, we've gotten that sentiment, and it's not just the players now; it's the players in the future. We've had Xavier Griffin on with his mom, Jet Thamala. We've talked to some 27 guys. We've done interviews with them, and they all kind of echo that sentiment about Kalen DeBoer. Like you could tell, like they're really bought into that guy. They love him. They love what he's bringing to this team, and it's refreshing in this period of transition, because it's hard. And from a fan standpoint, it's really hard to look at Kalen DeBoer knowing what Nick Saban was, and everybody wants him to be just a little bit like Nick Saban, but he's not. And so in your dealings with Kalen DeBoer, the times that you've spoken with him, like, is there anything that you've noticed that maybe he's kind of maybe adapted that's similar to Nick Saban, or?
Yeah. One of those things, and this is definitely unique to my experience with the program and the access that I do get to have. And that is a respect level that I've been shown by every single player that I have dealt with when it comes to Alabama football. And I don't really think that can be taken lightly. And all of my dealings with them, whether it's been one-on-one interviews over the summer where I'm there on their turf inside the facility, whether it's, in a media scrum on a Tuesday or post-game, that level of respect that Nick Saban instilled in that program has only been fed by Coach DeBoer. And that standard of excellence when it comes to how you treat others and keeping that posture of being the best is very much so alive inside that facility. And I can say firsthand, I've experienced it, in those one-on-one interactions that I get with players and the entire coaching staff. Truly, I can't speak highly enough about who they are, obviously, as players and coaches, but who they are as men as well.
Good. That's really good to hear. I know, a lot of fans, they're uncomfortable after that week 1 loss to FSU and what it looked like. And I get that. And I respect that. I understand it. We're not used to Alabama looking that vulnerable, that mortal, right?
Yeah.
I mean, leading up into the season, I did a big series on Kalen DeBoer and how successful he's been in year 2 everywhere he's been. And I really think that it looks like there was a switch that was flipped between week 1 and week 2.
Yes.
Do you notice that too?
Yes, I would agree with that. And I do think for those that want to see some Saban emotion from Coach DeBoer, we got that. We got it on video against Georgia last year, and then we got it against, I think they were up by 50, and he's yelling it at someone on defense. So, we're getting those little moments, and you can see the fan base, salivating. They're like, yes, finally, we're seeing a little glimpse of it. But I think that one thing that I noticed was this switch in intensity. And naturally the question is going to be, guys, where was that going into FSU? Why was there a drop off? I don't know. I can't answer that. But what I can answer is that I have seen the response, and that is trending in the right direction in terms of energy, intensity. Right. And Coach Grubb was talking about it on Monday. I asked him, what has been the biggest step forward, not just with Ty, but the offense as a whole. And he said it was how they practice going to ULM, and they have the data to back that up. Those catapult, they look like sports bras. A lot of people may not know what they are because they look kind of weird on the practice tape. Yeah. But that is, accounting for all of this, physiology and internal data, and they can look at it as a strength and conditioning staff and say, hey, you went top speed on this route, but you didn't do it on the third route. Why is that? Or, hey, you exerted this much. And so they were able to show that to the players and say, not only did we see results on Saturday, but physiologically and based on your output in practice, you worked harder, and these are results that you got.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like, just based off of
a
what
loaf
I'm hearing,
fest.
Basically, yeah. You're loafing, we're going to know.
Yeah, got you, pal.
Yeah. It sounds like they're carrying that intensity this week too, just kind of hearing a lot of the same verbiage out of practice. I did like what Kalen DeBoer said yesterday about you got to remember that pain from week 1. He wants these guys to hold on to that feeling. And then there's the chance you're going to get, it looks like Ryan Williams is going to play on Saturday, which will be, I think, a big boost for Alabama. And then there's the possibility, we don't know yet, but you may get Tim Keenan back in the lineup as well as Jim Miller. I do think that those two guys especially Tim Keenan being available on the sideline, it was just absolutely huge. Because that sideline, during that game, I haven't seen an Alabama sideline like that for a couple of seasons, and it was refreshing. It was nice. Were you at the game?
Yeah. So I was at ULM and then in FSU, and I'll be there at 11 a.m. this Saturday.
Fun.
Early one.
Yeah.
It'll be hot.
Yeah, it's going to be hot. It's going to be early, but I will tell you guys this. The press box food at Bama is excellent, and their breakfast is one of my favorite meals. So I'm not complaining about it. It'll be good.
I don't think I've ever been to an 11 a.m. game in Bryant-Denny Stadium. Even when I was a student there, I don't think I went.
I have.
Have you?
In the early days? Oh, yes. Yes.
In September, that sounds
the DuBose Franchione years. Yes, I've been to a few 11 a.m. games.
Goodness gracious. All right, are you going to be up in the press box, or are you going to be doing some sidelines?
So I'll be on the sidelines, yep. So with Cover Crimson. And then I get to hang out in the press box for a little bit. It's actually interesting. Some schools, if you're on the field level as a photog, you can't go in the press box. At LSU, if you're on the field, you can't go up and see what it's all about. But at Bama, that is not the case, and I appreciate that because I get to see all my friends, eat a good meal, get the press box Coke. I tweeted about that last week. It's McDonald's level. It's
right?
incredible.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
good. Have you tried?
Bama knows what they're doing, man. Bama knows what they're doing.
I will though. I'll do a review for us this coming week about how the Sprite is in the press box.
Awesome.
Yeah, you got to try the Sprite. Yeah.
Can I
If it's
piggyback
par
off
with-
something
Yeah.
that you mentioned earlier, Michael, about possibly Jam coming back, which obviously would help the rotation, help the depth, having a veteran back in there. But here's the funny thing: it's like circumstances breed opportunity, and had Jam not gotten hurt, I'm not sure Kevin Riley would have gotten the carries he got and the opportunities he got, and been able to show that what he has in the tank, like this could be a special player. And so, as bad as it was that Jam went down, that created some opportunity. And is that room pretty tight? Is that unit tight? Those running backs, are they?
Yeah.
From your access and what you've seen, is that a tight group?
I do think so. I think even like Richard Young, you can add on to that what we're seeing from him, even his pass blocking too. Like one thing that comes to mind about that group is they're very selfless players, and that's what you want really in even wide receiver, tight end, but with a running back, that's what I'm seeing out of them. And I think you said it perfectly. Obviously, you don't want to see Jam go down with a dislocated collarbone at all. However, you get to see the depth of your room and really what that room is made of. And I'm excited to see kind of going forward how they're continuing to be utilized. And I think that we are going to see, some strides taken from Kevin Riley and Richard Young because of that opportunity. And then once we get Jam back and mix that in, it's just going to make that room stronger.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this. I mean, being there Saturday, you got to see a lot of young guys play.
Yeah.
That was kind of one of the highlights of that ULM guy. Who really stood off the page to you? Obviously, guys like Latzio Brooks. And I mean, that was the one everybody's talking about. But was there anybody else that really caught your eye?
Well, I mean, I think that we have to talk about Keelan Russell. Like the crowd response that we got from him was awesome. Like, you could hear the student section just kind of erupt. And Ty Simpson, I think we saw, such good progression in him, especially his decision making. That was the biggest jump that the coaching staff said that he had from week 1 to week 2. And then you have Austin Mack, who's a lot younger than people kind of remember. So I was talking to Nick Sheridan, who, OC last year, now he's the quarterback's coach. And he actually touched on that. He was by saying, like, Austin Mack isn't this old guy. Like, he reclassified, he's pretty young, and he's taken some good steps. And you have Keelan that comes in. They all have very different strengths, but you can't substitute that game experience that all three of them got. And Keelan to connect, it was a fun moment. And I think that I'm excited about that room specifically because I don't think people are talking about it enough, just how much depth Alabama's quarterback room has.
No, yeah. And much like the running back room, it's probably one of the more deeper position groups in the country. Of course, that that's going to beg the question with fans. If assuming Ty drafts, right? If Keelan Russell's going to be the guy, do you lose him? You've got two quarterbacks coming in right now in Taden Kawa and Jet Thamala. I'm not going to ask you about that because I'm sure you don't want to answer that question, but it's a concern on people's minds. Everybody's like, who's going to transfer? The stupid transfer portal, but that's just kind of where we are in college football right now, right? So now let me see. I want to ask you this. Outside of Bama, I'm assuming you watch a lot of college football. I mean, you're watching these other teams, especially in the SEC. If you had to right now, if you had to name somebody that you got that game circled, you're a little worried about it. You're like, I don't know, who would it be?
It's South Carolina.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's South Carolina.
I don't like that, but
they're not.
I'm on an island by myself waiting for South Carolina to dud this year and then compete next year. I don't think it's going to happen though.
Well, we're picking the Vandy game later, so you can put up or shut up, Jeff.
I think that the reason I hold this belief, and I really circled that game after the FSU loss, even more prior to the season. That was something that I was looking at because you saw how they played Alabama a season ago in Bryant-Denny. And I think South Carolina is a team that they have a really strong identity. They know who they are. Now you're traveling to Columbia. Obviously, you have some South Carolina fans that think that they got snubbed last season. I mean, even in their opener, it was against LSU, and there were some questionable things that went. Or it wasn't their opener; it was their. What was the game they should have won? But it was a crazy call. Was it LSU?
It was the LSU game. Yeah.
Okay.
Because they jumped out early.
Yeah, there was something crazy that happened. But all that to say, South Carolina is a team that has identity, and you're going to Columbia to play that game. And Lenore Sellers is really dang good. He's mobile, he's athletic, and I just think that that's a game that I'm looking at as Alabama has not struggled with the games that they shouldn't win. They struggle with the games that they should win. When you look back last season, you have OU, you have Vandy. Tennessee is, a little iffy there.
All road games.
All road games, right. But then look how they played against Wisconsin on the road. And it was like, what's going on here? You want a similar response Saturday that you had to Wisconsin last season. But I think South Carolina is going to be one that I'm really looking at to see how do you respond on the road and how do you respond to a team that really put up a fight last season and gave you a lot of challenges.
Yeah, I have a theory because a lot of people are kind of waiting to watch Alabama go to Georgia because that's the thing, right? Kalen DeBoer hasn't been great on the road yet. Alabama's looked sloppy at times on the road. Obviously, FSU. I've been able to kind of explain away the FSU game and the fact that it's your season opener. It's on the road in Tallahassee. I don't think Alabama should ever be playing week one at somebody else's place, maybe a neutral site game, but stay out of Florida. Like we don't even play in Florida anymore. Please. But, yeah, absolutely. Especially in September, August.
Yeah.
Get out of there. So kind of explain that away, but I've kind of been telling our viewers, and some of this is to put them at ease, but there were so many people that had access to fall camp and that practice leading up to FSU. A lot of people who know more about football than I'll ever know. They're walking away going, hey, this team's legit. And I feel confident that's right. Like, but all of you saying the same thing can't be wrong. Right.
Yeah.
So was it an anomaly? Like, do you think it's just,
listen, you have everyone from, Josh Pate, who I love and adore.
Yeah. Right.
And he's like he had to kind of the Sarah McLachlan special, and it was
that was funny. That was
great work by Pate. But no, I don't think that the eyes deceived us, and I still feel really confident about this team. I think that when you have as much talent as this roster has, and you have a coaching staff like I've seen and I've been around, it's going to come together. Now, we may be having a conversation in 6 weeks where you guys like EG, you were completely wrong on that. And,
You're not,
FSU,
you can't come back.
But with that being said, FSU is unique for a lot of reasons. And I think that we're too early on to know really the identity of this team yet. Georgia will tell us a lot for sure. I don't think we're going to know much more following Saturday, just because I think that everyone's waiting for that SEC moment to see what this team is made of on the road in Athens. But you need another response, just like you had last week against ULM, against Wisconsin this weekend.
Yeah, I think that if Bama can come out and look as dominant as they did at Wisconsin last year, considering it's an 11 o'clock game, I hate 11 o'clock kickoffs, not because of how hot it is, just because it always seems like the team is like sluggish to get going. I always look for, if we're going to call upsets, I always look in that 11 a.m. window. And so, but, I think if Alabama goes out and really does what we think they can do or what they're going to do, I think that'll boost a lot of confidence going into the bye week and then going into Georgia. Now, Wisconsin's going to be without their starting quarterback. It looks that way, but they're bringing, is it Danny O'Neal? I think, looking at this kid, O'Neal seems to have, I dare say, a better arm than
Billy Edwards.
I think his completion percentage is better. Just kind of looking, I looked at base numbers. I didn't go into detail here. So I'm really interested to see if they're going to try to get him to distribute that ball through the air and get Alabama's pass rush going. What do you think's going on there in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think that there's a few different ways we can look at it. I know that was an emphasis this fall camp, and I think that a few things need to start coming together because you're going to have teams that naturally take advantage of that.
Sure.
I'm not sure if that's going to be Wisconsin this weekend. I know that I actually watched an interview with Danny O'Neal this afternoon, and he was with the media, and he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and apparently he's a little more mobile than Billy Edwards. So I'm curious to see what the response will be. And for me, when I look at Alabama's defense right now, and I asked Kane Womack about this, so Alabama had 12 tackles for loss against ULM and 0 sacks.
Yeah.
You can't have that. Now, the flip side of that, Wisconsin had 13 tackles for loss and 9 different people with sacks. That's a little bit jarring, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm really looking to this game for Alabama to finish. You have to have those guys finishing. And when I asked Coach Womack about this, he said, there's a few different things that go into it, right? There's launch angle, or not launch angle, but angles, closing speed, all that good stuff. But also schematically, he has to find a way to put the quarterback on the ground. And I think with a quarterback that hasn't had the experience, this is an opportunity to do that and take advantage of it.
Sure. Yeah. And he said it. I mean, he took accountability, said it's kind of his job to make sure he's putting the guys in position to do it. So I think he can. I think it's maybe, some personnel maybe getting a little exotic with your blitz packages and stuff. We'll see how it looks. It will definitely help if you get Tim Keenan back.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so we'll
just
see how
from an
goes.
attitude perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. On the field.
Just
I mean,
the missing attitude on the sideline.
Yeah. Yeah. He has that impact on the sideline. Imagine what happens when he's actually on the field, man.
And I think we almost took for granted Scott Cochran's sideline presence for all those years until it was gone. And then it was kind of like, man, there's no sideline hype anymore. Like the players are going to have to do that now.
They got to bring that energy. And like we heard Coach DeBoer say, like TK was, assigned to do that. You guys were the ones that spotted it. The rest is history. And I'm excited to see that translate again on Saturday.
Man, if that dude tells you to jump, you better start jumping.
Oh, I'm going to jump. Yeah. How high, man? How high? How many times?
You better start jumping like you ain't never jumped before.
Yeah.
You're good. She just force pushed her dog away. Did y'all see that? That was awesome. She just force pushed the dog away. She came running and she just went. The dog just fly back into the room.
I for a second, I thought Bill was here.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It's a Jedi as well.
What's going on?
Sorry, y'all. I didn't think you heard.
No, don't apologize. It's okay.
That was great.
That's the show. We have this ongoing gag about a ghost that is haunting the show.
Oh no!
And, the way Offsides goes, he likes to mess with Chris during the show. Weird things happen.
Oh yikes!
Well, EG,
Secrets out. EG's a Jedi.
We won't keep you too long. We want to be respectful of your time. Thank you for joining us. You've been all over the place. The door is always open. Anytime, anything we can do to help you out, let us know, and vice versa. People seem to absolutely adore you. So
well, thank you.
We're going to piggyback. We're going to ride your coattails.
Thank you for giving us the time.
No, of course. I love it. We'll do this more often. And if you guys want to see, more of my stuff, I'm with Cover Crimson, but also with Gay Alabama. So there's a lot of content that comes out in a short span of time. And I'm happy to share it with all of you guys. I love my job, and I hope that is what is conveyed for sure.
Well, it shows in your work.
You're good.
You're very genuine in what you do. So that I think that's a talent that some people are born with, to be natural in that space. So
not us. We have to fake it.
I know.
No, this was awesome. I love this.
I got to do shot skis before the show starts just so I can get through it, right?
Listen, it's all about what works. It's all about
That's right.
Well, enjoy your evening. Enjoy your 11 a.m. sideline trot on Saturday. Stay cool out there. If anybody's yelling on the sideline, get video, okay?
I will. All right, I'll see you guys later. Thank you.
Thanks, EG.
Thanks for